drowning in Star Trek Anniversaries. Episode 236 of, yes, Trekland Tuesdays Live. The show's so nice, we show you twice. With me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemecek, coming at you right here from the heart of Trekland through Portal 47 for some clarity, sanity, and the big picture in all things Star Trek. Wow. Welcome, everybody. If you're finding us fresh and new, welcome, welcome, welcome. Star Trek Anniversaries and what's been going on lately. It has been a week. It has been a month. It's been a crazy time. I'm excited because I also have, the Portal 47 gift box in a box is back. Hang on, I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit too. But first, let's talk about what has been going on and what has been blowing up so much of Star Trek internet lately, and, a lot of people's thought. Aside from today, December 7th, being, yes, Pearl Harbor Day, and also the date, one of those infamous days, like September 11th, like November 22nd, which has also been redeemed a little bit. The days of infamy, as we'd say. And you almost wonder if someone's in entertainment, someone's doing something popular, is that the best day to conjure up when you're doing it? Well, sometimes your industry is driven by the calendar. And that's what happened in 1978, when the whirlwind, the force of nature that was going to be by God made or not, no emphasis on the not, it was going to be Star Trek the Motion Picture. The Friday of debuting was, look at the calendar, oh look, December 7th. And so here we are. At the time it seemed odd, but here we are celebrating December 7th as the anniversary, the 42nd of the motion picture. But wait, that's not all. Look, just yesterday was the anniversary of Star Trek VI. Do I see a pattern here? Well, of course the pattern is that the movies tend to be released either for the summer blockbusters, like Wrath of Khan, like Star Trek 3 in June, or their holiday funsies, December and into November. So yeah, we've just come through a slew of them. Sometimes you almost blur over. And hey, after 55 years and all these series and all these movies, you've got a few anniversaries to mark, which is what I'm going to get to. But look, have you noticed November 26th? I was on it. I can tell you, it's up there where you can catch it now. We had a great live panel of some of the art and video staff from First Contact, which redeemed partially November 22nd in a lot of people's minds. That was a great panel. You can catch that on YouTube and all. But 4 days before that was the anniversary, kind of overlooked, of Generations, Star Trek Generations from 94, the 18th of November. And don't put your party gear away yet. Coming up in that holiday spirit, sad to say, might get overlooked, but they're there. December 11th is the anniversary of Insurrection, and December 13th is the anniversary of Nemesis. The holiday movies, the Christmas movies, right up there with Die Hard. But those are the winners. So yeah, we've got a lot of that. And the fall, September brings the fall TV series premieres. The early January brings all the mid-year old school premieres. Now we're in the streaming season. You could have something, we're going to have premiere dates all through the year now. Maybe that's a little more small d democratic with the calendar. I don't know. But that's the reality that we're in now. We are going to have anniversaries all over the place. But these are anniversaries. That means they're there to stay. Nothing's going to change. I mean, time is the fire in which we chisel out new stuff to remember. And this is going to be anniversary season. In fact, as of right now, and this could change, Star Trek Arabic 4, Star Trek whatever the next movie will be from the now remerged, reconfigured Paramount /CBS /Viacom, whatever, is now set for December 22nd, 2023. Almost 2 years from now, a little over 2 years from now. Can they get a movie from start to finish in 2 years and 2 weeks? We'll see. It takes 2 years to make a half hour of an animated series now. So December is not going away. And if you're enjoying all these markings, yay, they're not going away. Of course, in the middle of Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and getting ready for New Year's, juggling all that, are you finding time to celebrate all your Star Treks adequately? I don't know. We're obliging. The internet is obliging you very well. Center Seat, the documentary series, I think they've run all the fresh ones they're going to. They've all now dropped on the paid History channel, History Vault. So if you haven't seen that, I had a great time sitting down for it. I had no idea until the end that they were going to use me so much. But I was proud and honored to be there. They didn't get weird and overly snarky. So I can still say I'm proud to have been a part of that. But that's another way of celebrating, what's come before, what makes us who we are. And here's the thing. The other big event of the last few days, few weeks, we talked about it last week, was the Farewell Nichelle event this weekend. And talk about time being the fire that we burn. I mean, that was supposed to be a year and a half ago. I dare say, if we hadn't had the pandemic and the lockdowns and all that, things had just been normal as they were in the old days. That would have been an awesome event. It was supposed to be in May 2020. And it's just and I was about to say, well, how sad, how tragic that Nichelle is not going to have the accord that, say, Jimmy did, and have one of these farewell events where you can definitely mark they've given their all. And yes, they're not nearly the vibrant personality we remind them of, but we know that's them. And we know that they still know who their fans are and who they love and what their life has been about. And that's where Nichelle is. And as you saw in some of the videos, she can still, with a little help, she can still cut a rug. And she still knows how to thank her fans and just flash that big smile and accept what's, and be aware of what's going on around her, including being awarded the NASA Exceptional Public Service Award, which was kind of a, blue ribbon around the neck, big frame certificate. It was pretty awesome. It's hard to walk around Johnson Spacecraft Center and not find 3 out of 4 people say they're standing there because of Star Trek. And of course, Nichelle, besides playing Uhura and being a role model for women and people of color and women of color in TV, when you barely ever saw them as anything but a maid or a butler, sure inspired Whoopi, sure inspired Mae Jemison, and many more. Then to come around and use that platform to recruit for NASA. I mean, it's the bittersweet moment that so many of her, a third of the Challenger crew were people she recruited. Judy Resnick, Ellison Onizuka, Ron McNair. I can still remember. But getting minorities and women involved, it was not just the test jet pilot jockey look, the buzz cut gang. It looked like America in space. And if you haven't seen the documentary Woman in Motion, that's all about Nichelle and that amazing chapter of her life. So yes, it was a heartfelt weekend. The last 2 or 3 years have been controversial and problematic for Nichelle. It was wonderful, and I want to set this clear here. It was wonderful to meet and see her son Kyle, her sister Marion, all of their family. So a lot of Nichelle, and we heard the story of how she was Shelley mom to her kids, and then to all the nieces and nephews, she became Auntie Shelley mom. So Auntie Shelley mom had a big following, and then just as the family grew. And if there was any controversy about her status and who was looking out for her best interests, former manager versus son and family, and even third party, we've been best friends forever people. No. You saw it clearly on display there. Her nephew is the one, the big guy, helping her through even some of the dancing when Kyle, her son, wasn't there, if you saw in the videos. And they just love her to pieces. She's always been there. She's the eldest of the sisters. She had 2 younger sisters, and those are her sister's kids, and that's branch of the family. The whole concept of the farewell event is something. Jimmy had one. Thankfully, I don't know. I think we don't dare give Shatner one. Just keep roasting him. He's on the wound up spring that's going to go until somebody forgets and lets the spring wind down. But George is aging gracefully. Walter is too. Walter was just in the hospital with a mild infection. He would have been there Sunday. I would have had a panel with him to moderate, but he called Sunday morning, didn't want to scare anyone, said he was in the emergency room for treating an infection that nobody was too worried about. We got to check in on him and see how he's doing. But, will we have something like that for Walter or George? Perhaps, maybe. Jimmy's was wonderful, and Jimmy's came at about the same time in his life, in 2005. In Jimmy's case, they got him with his Hollywood star. And then Walter was the last one in the original cast to do that just about 10 years ago. But Jimmy's farewell was bittersweet. He was in his wheelchair or walked in. He wasn't extremely communicative Wendy was on his every arm. His youngest daughter was with him too, and the boys. But, Dee didn't get that chance. Dee, very quiet, very shy, retiring, and taking care of Carolyn with her muscular issues. She was basically chair-ridden and bedridden. And here he was suffering with stomach cancer. He was fine until he wasn't. 6, 8, 9 months before he passed, he went to a big A.C. Lyles event to honor the great, his old friend, best man, and stalwart, just like the fall before he passed in June. I want to say June 11th. Dee didn't get a farewell weekend. Leonard had so many accolades. We watched him. His final failing caught us by surprise a little bit. We all knew he was suffering from COPD. We all knew he was tailing off his appearances. I feel like we had one long goodbye with Leonard with a sudden ending. We had an ending of sorts. But as far as these anniversary celebrations go, no. Of course, nothing like that for Gene. And the only other person I'd say close from that era, Mark Leonard. But that was in the 90s. The earlier folks, that wasn't quite the thing. People didn't know how to handle that. I love the idea. The way it was carried out for Jimmy and carried out for Nichelle. We'll see about others as the years pass. But here's the thing that kind of knits all these things we've been celebrating together. All these anniversaries of movies. And maybe it feels like, oh my God, I wake up every day and it's a new day. I mean, and an earlier Trekland Tuesdays Live, it's like, boy, Star Trek, we love our anniversaries. Well, after 55 years, 58, 57, if you count filming The Cage, after all these years, we're going to be loaded down with anniversaries. And we obviously care, or else this sucker wouldn't have been around for 57 years. 56 if need be, if you want to be a stickler, 55. Yeah, that's part of the package. You're going to be popular enough, you're going to have birthdays and anniversaries, and you're going to mark your farewells. That's part of the package. The thing is, the farewells are bittersweet. We're watching them and all our memories of what they were, what they've done, what they've accomplished, and who they've inspired over and over and over again. And the ripples in the pond, in the good pond they've set out for the world. That's why we're honoring them. But you know what? We'll always have them. We'll always have Paris and Kim and Janeway. Well, we'll always have Uhura and Sulu and Chekhov and Scotty and McCoy and Spock and Kirk and yes, other people will play those roles. But there's a reason for the season back at the beginning. And I'll say this about as the years go by and we are confronted, we are facing this dilemma for all these wonderful casts because, yes, Tolian, time is the fire in which we burn. It's also the fire in which we celebrate. It's also the confetti in which we remember, because that's the beauty of these anniversaries. We do bid our farewells when the time comes. But we'll always have them. We'll always have them on film. We'll always have them on digital video. Whatever the media is, we'll always have them. We can go back and watch Star Trek VI. We can go back and watch the motion picture in ever-increasing technology and even clean-up editing that never happened in the original days. But whatever the anniversary is, we'll always have them in increasingly better formats and technology, perhaps. Or toggling back to those original effects and the dropout nacelle matte lines. Yeah, we'll always have it, but we will always have it. And that's why we remember the anniversaries, even when they pile up, even when they blur together at times, because we're in the rush hour busy season of the spring premieres or the summer blockbuster movies or the holiday releases. It gets busy this time of year with everything else, but we're still going to make time for our Star Treks. Come to think of it, there's new episodes of Discovery every week. Has anybody remembered that? I know a lot of you don't care, but more and more of the folks are paying attention to Discovery. And you know what? The newer fans, the younger fans, are those that weren't there in the theater for motion picture, and they weren't there for First Contact even. A lot of them weren't there for Star Trek 09. I know. So let's remember everybody. It's the feel-good season anyway. Let's remember all of our fandom. People are sharing their stories of seeing all of these movies in the theaters for the first time. It's starting to be old history of what you did with ST09 and STID and beyond. Hot, cold, lukewarm, wherever you were, it's in your experience. And we need to keep all of that alive. That's what I'm trying to do. It's what I'm trying to share here and preserve. So that, yes, when we do have to bid our farewells, we all have so much reservoir of memory. So what if we read the book and saw the movie at the same time? We're bringing all of our book smarts with us when we see this little cinema of life passing by. And so, yeah, there was so much warmth exploding around the world, around the globe this last weekend. Some of those images were just tickled you to death. It was amazing to be there live and see Nichelle having such a good time. Yeah, it was a nightmare of production. It's a lot of folks who weren't used to being part of a production. I wish it had been more folks in attendance. I wish it had been a year and a half ago before all this crap. I wish it had not been in a cavernous convention center, but it was. The family was in love with the event. It was so sweet to meet so many of them and do one tiny bit along with so many others to mark that great life, the same way we did in 05 with Jimmy. And not a farewell, but the same group, Doug Conway, Sky Conway, and his team, also for the Walters Hollywood Star event that I was happy to be a part of too. So we're wishing good things for Walter right now. We're having warm thoughts of Nichelle, our newest NASA medal winner. If all these anniversaries are flying by, it's okay. It's okay if you didn't bake a cake or have a party or throw a podcast or a live event. It's okay. It'll always be with us as long as we remember them. I know. Hey, everybody, some good thoughts for today. Some warm thoughts as we enter this crazy season, as we line up all of our insurrection and nemesis parties for next week. Of course, a big shout out to all of our Patreons here. Yeah, the TTL Club, Diana Hopkins, Robin Wilson, Lawrence Todd, Anne-Marie Siegel, Keith Rombach, Justin Porteous, Nathaniel Robinson, and Blaze K. And our live wires, Dusty Harrell, Halbert Gunn Johnson, Jalen Bullock, Robert McLean, Alan Hoansey, J.R. Poole, and Casey Shafsky. I appreciate you guys. There you go. $5 and $10 a month. I keep it simple. Patreon.com/Trekland Live. I love this. I showed you guys. Here, bang. It's a little, a little mirror effect. It's what I call the Portal 47 in a box. It's a great gift. We're all virtual until we're live at cons. So for our around the world community here on Portal, it's a perfect time to do a box. It's basically get 6 months for the price of 5. This is our most popular offer during the year. It's great. You can put it under the tree if you order in time. This year I'm saying by the 17th. And this year we're going to offer it for a full year, basically buy 10 months and get the last 2 free. There's a savings there. And some freebies in the box. There's some swag. Your member pin is in there. But it's best of all, it's a thing. It's a thing you can put under the tree for any Trek fan on your list, including if your name's on your list. So it's fine. You can indulge. It's very easy to get to. See, bang, LarryNemecek.com/Holly21. Be great to have you start off the year. 2022. 2021 was going to be our big recovery year. We're getting there, not quite as fast as we thought, but we're getting back in. But we're all going to be carrying over some of the silver linings of this pandemic. But we're also going to be looking at all different flavors, all the buffet flavors of the Star Trek coming down, as well as finding new ways to enjoy our favorites. We've got a 4K restoration of the motion picture coming. LarryNemecek.com/Holly21. Love to have you in Portal 47 with us, where it's like a mini-con all year long. No post-con blues, no post-Zoom letdown. We're there with our members-only page, our live events, out of my archives, and discounts. And we will get back. We'll get back to live touring. We'll do Trekland Treks again on the other side of the coin. We will get back to all normality. We just need to have better than the old days normal. And I can't wait. It would be lovely to have you in the portal with us. Speaking of anniversaries and lesser ones, but still fun ones, this week on the Trek Files, this week is the, what did I say? Yes, the 57th anniversary, not of the Trek Files, but of shooting the Cage. And this week is shooting the Orion Slave Girl Venus scenes. And we have not Robert Butler, who's still with us and is an awesome person to talk to, the director, but we have one of the veterans of that day. Stacy Foster, aka Emmylou Crawford, is our guest again on the Trek Files. This week, our guest is Carrie/Emmylou, and she talks about that day filming the scenes and also the disappointment, but not, of her face totally being part of the deleted scene extended. But we've got some photos from it. It was an awesome talk for her to remember that day. She wound up working on Star Trek and some other series after that before she got into her main career. But check out the Trek Files this week. Another anniversary, the 57th anniversary of shooting the Cage, and especially shooting the Orion Slave Girl dance scene with one of the eyewitnesses who was there and deleted. Yeah, the Trek Files on our Facebook page or podcast.roddenberry.com. And hopefully, for all is said and done, Dr. Ali and I will be back for Life Support Live this week, 10 a.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time, 7 Central Europe, going boldly through uncertain times. I have some ideas for some themes. If you haven't joined our Facebook page, why don't you do that and be with us too? We have a great Lifers community. I'll follow along in the chat, just like right now. Where you're watching me now, that's where we are with Life Support Live on Saturday. Basically, guys, gals, peeps, it's at Larry Nemecek on Twitter and Larry Nemecek's Trekland everywhere else. I still have to redo this to have YouTube there, but yeah, you know where you are. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and everywhere else. That would be awesome. Portal47.net is our home base. But if you want the gift deal right now, it's LarryNemecek.com/Holly21. That is it for this week here for the YouTubers archived. Everybody else, hang on just a second. I'll be right back after this tiny break. But until we're back and until we meet again, if you're YouTubing me, stay healthy. Do all the things. Stay woke. Check all the sources of the misinformation, including the garbage going around about Nichelle and her family and who's really in her best interest. It's the family. I think you saw that on display. And trek well, everybody.